Next up is the presentation by Mr. Yoosuf Shiraz, Deputy Director, Maldives Tax Academy, on the topic tourism-related taxation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yoosuf Shiraz. I'm from Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA. Before I start, I would like to thank all the officials of Hotelia Maldives for giving us this opportunity. Actually, we are very excited and honored to be here today. As you all know, we are here today to talk to you about tourism-related taxes. As you are aware, after my presentation, there will be a Q&A session as well. With me here today, there are very two experienced tax officials from Maldives Inland Revenue Authority. So after my presentation, if you have any question regarding tourism-related tax or any other tax, you are welcome to ask questions. After the establishment of MIRA in 2010, the most remarkable thing happened in the economy of this country is the introduction of broad-based and simple tax system. The significance of tourism industry in the development of this tax system is very high. So today, I will briefly explain you the taxes we have in Maldives, not all the taxes that relates tourism industry only. Before going to the taxes, first I will talk about the registration process. Tax Administration Act. Under Tax Administration Act, all the persons conducting business here in Maldives requires to register with the MIRA. That means all the persons carrying business or conducting business in Maldives are registered with the MIRA. But if you are conducting business or doing business with the permission of Ministry of Economic Development, you are not required to submit a separate registration form to MIRA for this registration. Your registration with MIRA will be initiated when you submit your business registration to the Ministry of Economic Development. Registering with MIRA is not, it's not you are registering any other tax or you are registering for any tax. It's just a registration, a simple registration with MIRA. If you are required to register for any other tax, you have to do a separate registration. Suppose, for example, if you are required to register for GST or goods and service tax, you have to submit a separate form to MIRA for GST registration. All tourist establishments currently operating in Maldives are required to register for GST. This registration will be done in the name of the person who holds the operating license. Even though the establishment managed by someone else, the GST registration will be done in the name of the person who holds the operating license. That's the practice now. Next, I will look at the things you need to know for BPT purposes. BPT is the business profit tax. As you all know, BPT is levied at a rate of 15% of the taxable profit that exceeds 500,000 in a tax year. That is approximately 32,425 US dollars. So if your taxable profit exceeds 500,000, you are required to pay 15% of that excess amount. Here, the taxable profit means the profit after allowable deductions are made from your gross income. Here, the allowable deductions means the deductions that are allowed from BPT Act and BPT regulation. BPT Act and BPT regulation says you can only deduct expenses related to your business. For BPT purpose, all the business are required to prepare their accounts for a period starting from 1st January to 31st December. That is the accounting period for BPT purpose. There are two recognized accounting bases for BPT purpose. First one is cash basis. Second one is accrual basis. Businesses with annual turnover less than 10 million may opt to prepare their accounts on cash basis. And businesses with annual turnover more than 10 million must prepare their accounts on accrual basis. BPT is paid in 3 payments. First one is the first interim payment, second interim payment, after that final payment. Interim statement must be submitted when you make when you make first interim payment and second interim payment. And BPT return must be submitted when you make final payment. Along with BPT return, you are required to submit financial statements as well. Next, I will look at withholding tax. Withholding tax, or WHT, is imposed under BPT Act. Withholding tax is payable if you are making any payment specified in Section 6 of BPT Act to a non-resident. For the BPT purpose, individual can be considered as a resident if he stays in the Maldives for 183 days or more. And withholding tax is payable to MIRA at a rate of 10% of the gross amount that you pay to the non-resident. Suppose if you forgot to deduct withholding tax when you make the payment, in that case, MIRA will assume you have already deducted the withholding tax and the amount you paid to non-resident is the 90%. Next, is the GST. Before we have a general GST Act, we also have a tourism GST, specifically for tourism industry. In general GST, what we have now categorized into two sector. One is tourism sector, the other one is general sector. Tourism sector includes mostly the tourism establishments, including resorts, hotels, guest houses, tourist vessels, travel agencies. And all the other businesses comes under general sector. Currently, the rate for tourism sector is 12% and the general sector GST rate is 6%. Initially, when we start implementing GST in 2011, the rate was 3.5% in both the sector. For GST, all the persons registered for GST are required to file a monthly or quarterly GST return. And all the persons registered for GST in tourism sector are now required to file this return through our online portal Mira Connect. And all the payments relating to GST must be paid through this online portal or YMRTGS. Goods and services supplied on a complimentary basis are not GST free. In other words, it's not exempt from GST. But there are some scenarios or cases those supplies made on complimentary basis are free from GST, or you are not required to charge GST on those supplies. There are some cases. If such supply is directly connection with promotion of your business or directly for the purpose of carrying your business or as a charitable donation to an institution which is financed wholly or primarily through state budget. If such supply relates any of these, anyone from these mentioned conditions, then you can consider that as a GST free complementary supply. Next, I will look at the green tax. Green tax is payable at a rate of $6 from tourist resorts, tourist hotels, and tourist vessels, and at a rate of $3 per night of stays from tourist guest houses. Maldivians and resident permit holders are not required to pay green tax. It's only charging from tourists or any person who is having a tourist visa. For the purpose of green tax, tourists are persons other than Maldivians who do not hold a resident permit. Resident permit is a document issued by Maldives immigration to allow an individual to stay in Maldives other than a tourist. It may be the case a visa of a resident permit holder is expired when he checked in or during his stay. You must not charge green tax if visa of resident permit holder is not expired when he checks in. Even though the visa expired during his stay. But if the visa is already expired when he checked in, that means you have to treat him as a tourist and charge green tax for entire stay, even though he renewed it during his stay. And tourists who are staying for free or on a complimentary basis also must pay green tax. Flight crews and crews on board of foreign tourist vessels are not tourists if they have a proper documents to prove that. In that case, if they have a proper documents, you must not charge green tax from them. And the other thing regarding the green tax is any person who uses a room approved by Ministry of Tourism to accommodate tourists must be recorded as having checked in to the establishment, even though it is a Maldivian or resident permit holder. Sometimes, often in high season, overbooking forces establishments to accommodate tourists in rooms other than those who are approved from tourism ministry to accommodate tourists. In that case, you must charge green tax from the guests if he is having a tourist visa, even though he is staying not in a room approved by Ministry of Tourism to accommodate guests. For the green tax purpose, you must start collecting or charging green tax from check-in time. Check-in time is the time you officially record in your system or document that the guest is having checked in to the establishment. And you must compute and you must include or charge green tax until the guest check out from the establishment. For green tax purpose, the check out time is the time you officially record in your system or documents that the person check out from your establishment. As a general rule, all the businesses registered in Mira, or even they are not registered in Mira, they must keep all business records for a period of 5 years. For the purpose of green tax, there are some specific documents that you need to be keep, which includes guest registration card for each guest and ADR and occupancy details and details of the payments subject to withholding tax. As most of you know, green tax return is a monthly return that you have to file to Mira via our online portal, Mira Connect. And all the payments related to green tax also must be made through this portal or via MRTGS. Same thing I mentioned a bit earlier. All tourist establishments must keep all business records for the purpose of green tax. Specifically, they have to keep guest register and guest registration cards. And for Maldivians, you are not required to charge green tax from them, but you must keep copy of national identity card. And for any other persons not subject to green tax, establishments must keep copy of their resident permit or other documents. This is just to prove that you are not required to charge green tax from them. That's all I have in this presentation. This is a topic that I can talk for hours actually. The content in only in tourism Texas is also very, we have many contents even for tourism
12:50.
Texas. We look at only to tourism Texas. But the time given for us is very limited. That's why I just briefly explained you the tourism related Texas. As I mentioned earlier, we also have a Q&A session after this presentation. So if you have any question, you can ask during this Q&A session. Once again, I would like to thank all the officials of Hotelier Maldives for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, everyone.